Ever wonder how some companies just seem to come out of nowhere and completely dominate an industry? Well, it's usually not about playing the same game better than everyone else. It's about changing the game entirely. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful framework for doing just that. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy. Okay, so at the very heart of this whole idea is this simple but pretty profound contrast. On one side, you've got what they call red oceans. Think of these as markets that are just jam-packed with competitors, all fighting tooth and nail over the same shrinking pool of customers. It gets, well, bloody. It's a zero-sum game. But on the other side, you've got blue oceans. These are the untapped, totally uncontested market spaces that are just ripe for growth. The whole goal here isn't to outmuscle your rivals, it's to make them completely irrelevant. The reality is, most of us and most businesses operate right here, in the red ocean. It's kind of the default way we're all taught to think about business and strategy. But you know what? It's a trap that really limits growth and real innovation. Let me put it this way. Red oceans are basically all the industries we already know about. The rules are set, all the main players are established, and everybody is just scrapping for a slightly bigger piece of the exact same pie. And as that space gets more and more crowded, the water gets bloodied by all that intense competition. See? That's where the name comes from. So, the big question is, how do you escape? Well, let's look at probably one of the most famous examples out there. At a time when the traditional circus was pretty much seen as a dying industry, one company didn't just survive. It created a global phenomenon. I mean, just look at these numbers. They're staggering. Cirque du Soleil pulled in revenues in just 2 decades that took the entire global circus industry over a century to build. They weren't just a better circus. They were something else entirely. They were attracting a whole new audience, adults who would normally be choosing to go to the theater or the opera. So how on earth did they do it? Well, it wasn't magic. They actually used a really systematic approach that we can all learn from. It's called the 4 Actions Framework, and it's basically the blueprint for creating your very own blue ocean. Let's break it down using their story. First, they asked a really bold question. What are the things our industry takes for granted that we should just completely get rid of? For the circus, this meant eliminating some of the most expensive and, frankly, increasingly controversial parts. Those high-priced star performers and animal acts. They even got rid of aisle concession sales, which, let's be honest, kind of annoy customers with those high prices anyway. Second step, what factors should be reduced, like way below the industry standard? Now, they kept the classic thrills, the acrobats and stuff, but they dialed back their prominence. Instead of just being a series of disconnected stunts, the acts were actually woven into an artistic story, which made them feel so much more elegant and meaningful. Okay, next, they thought about what to raise far above what anyone else was doing. And this is where it gets really interesting. While other circuses were moving into these generic sports arenas, Cirque du Soleil doubled down on the classic circus tent. They glamorized it. They made it this unique, super comfortable, almost magical venue that just screamed premium experience from the second you walked up. And finally, the most powerful step of all, what can we create that our industry has never, ever offered before? This is where Cirque du Soleil started pulling in elements from totally different worlds, like the theater. They created shows with themes, with actual storylines, with artistic dance and original music, stuff you'd never find at a traditional circus. They basically created a whole new art form. So when you put all 4 of those actions together, you get this incredible thing called value innovation. And this right here, this is the cornerstone of the whole strategy. See, it's not about making a trade-off between value and cost. By eliminating and reducing, Cirque du Soleil slashed its cost structure. And by raising and creating, it offered this brand new differentiated value to its customers. They got both low cost and differentiation at the same time. That's the holy grail. But creating this new kind of value means you've got to find new customers. And guess what? The biggest opportunities are often hiding in a place nobody else is looking, with the people who aren't your customers at all. Think about it. Most companies are laser focused on that tiny little circle in the middle, their existing customers. They're fighting to keep them, they're trying to steal them from competitors. But Blue Ocean Strategy says, hey, look at the huge untapped potential in those outer rings of non-customers that surround your entire market. And these non-customers, they fall into 3 basic groups. Tier 1 are the folks who are right on the edge of leaving your industry. Tier 2 are the people who have already made a conscious choice to reject it. And Tier 3? Those are people who have never even considered your market in the first place. Each one of these tiers holds a massive hidden ocean of demand.
Here's a perfect example. Callaway Golf looked right past the existing market of skilled, serious players. Instead, they saw this ocean of refusing non-customers, people who were just frustrated and totally intimidated by how hard golf was. Their solution was genius, the Big Bertha driver. It made the game way more accessible and fun, and they converted tons of those non-customers into happy golfers.
Or how about Pray Avenger? They saw all these office workers who were basically soon-to-be non-customers of both traditional restaurants, which were too slow, and fast food, which was too unhealthy. So by offering fresh, healthy sandwiches at lightning speed, they created a whole new category and captured a huge market that was just hiding there in plain sight. So you see, when you combine a new value curve using that 4 actions framework with a focus on non-customers, you achieve the ultimate goal of this entire strategy. And this is not a fluke. It's a pattern. Just look at this list of legendary business moves. Ford didn't build a better luxury car for the rich. It made cars for everyone. Southwest didn't really compete with other airlines. It competed with driving a car. Apple's iTunes didn't just sell CDs online. It blew up the album model and sold single songs, legally and easily. Every single one of them created a blue ocean. This quote from the authors of the book, it just captures the whole mind shift perfectly. It's so counterintuitive, but it's incredibly powerful. Your focus completely shifts from battling your rivals to creating new value and new demand. Ultimately, the entire goal of Blue Ocean strategy is to create a leap in value that is so significant, so massive, that customers can't help but flock to you. And when that happens, what your competitors are doing, well, it suddenly just doesn't matter anymore. You're playing a completely different game on a different field by your own set of rules. So that leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. In your industry, in your world, what are the rules of the game that everybody just accepts without question? What are the things that are ready to be broken? What could you eliminate, reduce, raise, and create to find your own blue ocean?